plus derivative of 7, derivative of a number is 0 from rule 1. Now it is truly finished. I really found this, which is this. Okay. Now I will go on with this derivative. X squared minus 7 to the power minus 2's derivative. And again, I will use the chain rule, which says power comes to the front, power minus 1. Leave inside the parentheses as it is. Don't touch it. But don't forget to multiply with the derivative of whatever you have inside the parentheses. And that is the answer. But again, in your answer, there is a derivative. So you also have to take that. So I take it, derivative of x squared from rule 2. Don't calculate, memorize. It is 2x minus derivative of 7 is 0. The rest is copy paste, of course. So I also found this expression. Now please write this instead of this, and please write this instead of this by copy paste, and that is your final answer. Sorry. Now those are the all 5 rules what we need in the derivatives. Let's make a recap. Rule 1 says derivative of a constant function is 0. So if they give you a function which is constant, which means the function is equal to a number like fx equals 5, derivative is 0. No calculation or whatsoever, it's just 0. If they give you a function in the form of x to the power n, rule 2 says derivative of this is power comes to the front, power minus 1. Okay? For example, x to the power 4, power comes to the front, power minus 1. Finished. Or even if you have a number in front of that x term, just keep that number, don't touch it. For the rest, power comes to the front, power minus 1. Rule 3 deals with the multiplication of things. So if you need to find the derivative of a multiplication, the rule says, well, if you have 2 things there, like f and g, derivative of this multiplication is derivative of the first times the second plus derivative of the second times the first. That's it. And here is our very simple example. This is my first, and this is my second, and they are multiplied, and they want me to find the derivative of it. Okay, just write them in the formula, and that's it. Write them in the formula, and that's it. No calculation again. Just plug them there. Instead of f, write x plus 3, and instead of g, write x squared minus 7, and you are done. But of course, you should calculate this derivative and this derivative as well. Well, but they are easy because derivative of x, rule 2, don't calculate, memorize as 1, plus derivative of a number is 0, rule 1. And derivative of x squared is 2x from rule 2. Again, don't calculate, memorize this one, minus derivative of a number, 7 is 0 from rule 1, and you are totally done here. There is also this rule for the division. Oh, sorry, I skipped. There it is. If they give you not multiplication, but division of 2 things, the answer to the question, what is the derivative of this expression, is given with this formula. Again, if they ask you something, this is your f, numerator, divided with, this is your g, denominator, just write them in the formula. And there is your answer already in front of you. That's it, no calculation. Okay? Just in the answer, there are 2 more derivatives. You have to take them. But those are easy. Actually, those are the identical derivatives that we have taken in the previous question. Derivative of x is 1, and 3 is 0. Derivative of x squared is 2x, and derivative of 7 is 0. Finished. That's it. You just take them one by one. And finally, we had this chain rule, And the chain rule says, if you have an expression like something to the power 4, something to the power 8, whatever, derivative of such a thing is, take the power to the front, write inside as it is, don't touch it, power minus 1, okay? All seems very similar to the rule 2, but also don't forget to multiply with the derivative of whatever you have inside the parentheses. And then there is your answer. And these are the 5 rules what we use to find the derivatives of functions. Now, okay, I accidentally deleted the presentation I would use. Okay, now let me upload it. There it is. Now, how to use derivatives? Okay, now we know how to calculate derivatives, how to use. Well, this is how we are going to use the derivatives. Okay. The question types are going to be like this. They are going to give us a function and let it have a graph like this. I don't know, making up. Okay, something like this. Okay. They are going to give us a point on this function. Okay, let's say this point. And they are going to ask us to find the equation of the line which is tangent to this graph at that point. Okay. They are going to ask us to find the equation of this tangent line immediately. And we have 2 questions here, and that's it. Okay, so the question, as I promised you, find the equation of the tangent line to this function at the point 0, 1. How to solve these questions? Well, very easy, because at the end, in these questions, they ask you to find the equation of a line. This is the equation of a line. They are asking you to find the equation of a line. It's tangent to this at this point or not, who cares? It's the equation of a line. And the equation of a line, I have only one formula. It is this one. You just need to know a point where it passes through and the coordinates of that point, like x0 and y0. And you need to find the slope of the line, and that's it. You're just going to write them here, and that will be the answer. Okay, so let's start finding these numbers, x0, m, and y0, and write them here. But when I start solving the question, when I look for this x0 and y0, they are already given in the question. It is this. They already give you a point, and they have to give you a point. They must give you that for you to solve the question where the line passes from. So this is your x0. It is always given in the question. Okay? And this is your y0. It's always given in the question. So please directly write them in this formula. And if you write them like 0 instead of x0 and 1 instead of y0, there you go. That's the equation of the line, almost done. You just don't know the slope. Okay? You just don't know the slope. Otherwise, the rest is finished. We just need to find the slope of this tangent line. Well, there comes in the derivatives. Now, this is our slogan written in red. Slope, or m, is derivative. And derivative is slope. Do you want to find the slope of the tangent line? Find the derivative. That's it. Okay, so then let me find the derivative. So this tangent line, equation of which I'm trying to write, is tangent to this function. So I will take the derivative of this function. There it is. I'm taking the derivative of this function. How? 1 by 1. Derivative of x squared, don't calculate. Memorize from rule 2. It's 2x. Plus 2. You keep 2, don't touch it. Derivative of x, rule 2. Don't calculate. Memorize. It's 1. Therefore, I didn't even bother writing it. So it's 2 times 1. It's 2. Plus derivative of 1. Derivative of a number is 0. From rule 1, and I found the derivative. But where do I want this derivative? At this point, isn't it? At this point, I am looking for the derivative at 0, 1. But we are actually looking for the slope or derivative at 0, 1. So write 0 instead of x in the expression of the derivative. Write 0 here. If you write 0, 2 times 0 is 0, plus 2, who cares about this 0? And the answer is 2 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. That's your slope at this point to this function. Now just write this 2 in this expression, and that's your answer. That's it. That's all we have in this subject. And we have one more question, and I think it's, yeah. Find the equation of the tangent line to this function at the same point. Well, I say at the same point because in the previous question it was also 0 and 1. Okay. At the end, what do they ask me? They ask me to find the equation of a line. And I have only one formula for that, which is this. Okay. I just need to find the coordinates of a point where the line passes from, and then find the slope. That's it. But as I told you, in these questions, they automatically give you the point. You don't need to look for it. It's in the question. There it is. 0, 1. 0, 1. Just write 0 instead of x, 0, and 1 instead of y, 0. That's your x, 0 and y, 0. And there it is. So that's the answer of the question. You just need to find the slope now. You just need to find the slope. How do you find the slope? Well, from that slogan, what I wrote in red. Slope is derivative, derivative is slope. Okay. You want to find the slope? Find the derivative. Derivative of what? This function. Okay. There it is. Derivative of this function. Now, how to find this derivative? Well, you look at the function and what you see. I see primarily, basically, division of two things. So I have to use the rule for the division, which was the fourth rule in the previous presentation, which says if you have the division of two things, and if they ask you to find the derivative, you can find it with this formula. Just write, instead of f, x squared plus 2x plus 1, and just write x cubed plus 1 to the power 4 instead of g in this formula, because that's your f and that's your g. No calculation. That's the answer. But of course, in the answer, you have this derivative and this derivative to be taken. Okay, let's take them. Then we will have the final and exact answer. So derivative of x squared is 2x. We have done it. And you have to memorize it. Don't calculate, just memorize it. Derivative of 2x. Keep 2. Derivative of x is 1. So I don't even bother writing it. Plus, derivative of 1 is 0. I'm finished here. Copy, paste, minus, copy, paste. Now it comes here. X cubed plus 1 to the power 4. It's derivative. Now this requires me to use the fifth rule, because this is something to the power n. And the fifth rule says, well, the answer is like this. Power comes to the front. Power is 4. It came to the front. Power minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. Keep inside the parentheses as it is. X cubed plus 1. But don't forget to multiply with the derivative of whatever you have inside the parentheses. Okay, now I have this derivative to be taken. Derivative of whatever I have inside the parentheses. But that's easy. Because derivative of x cubed from rule 2, power comes to the front, power minus 1. Finished? Plus, derivative of 1 is 0. So I don't even bother writing that. And now it is truly finished. There is no more derivatives to be taken in this expression, so that's the answer. But where do I look to this derivative? Where am I looking for this derivative at this point? Where x is 0. So please write 0 instead of x. Wherever you see x, write 0. Okay? Or here. Or here. I don't know. Everywhere. Wherever you see x, write 0. Make the calculation and you will find that's the slope of the tangent line to this function at that point. Why I was looking for this? Because I would write this m to here when I wrote. Finished. Well, I can actually draw a sketch to you for you to see what we have done. Our point was 0 to 1, and that's here. 0 to 1. Well, my function passes from there. I don't know, maybe something like this. And I have a tangent line to it at that point. This. And they ask me to find the equation of this tangent line, which is this. Y minus 1, 2x. That's it. We are finished for today. So if you have any questions, any comments, you can write it. Or I will simply repeat, make a brief repeat of these things. And that will be it. To find the derivative, okay. Someone is writing, let's see. Thank you, Abdul Wahab, as well. Abdul Rahman, when will the grades for the assignment will be uploaded? They are uploaded. You should be able to see it on Moodle or even in Banner. Yes, we are done, Ibrahim. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Abdul Rahman. Thank you, Ali Najib. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Meanwhile, I will go on repeating the rules. Okay. There are only 5 of them, as I mentioned. Let's make a brief look at them.